NoReload Heroes is a top-down twin-stick shooter released on Steam in April of 2018, with the Switch release following closely in July. It is currently €10 on the Nintendo eShop and €15 on Steam, a rather surprising fact considering I have never seen a game being cheaper on a Nintendo platform. Hello everybody, my name is Ekay and you're watching EkayTech. First things first, yes, I am recording with my webcam. The camera that I usually use, which is usually situated right over there, is in possession of my sister. My sister is actually the owner of the camera and she's taken to a concert, so I can't use it right now, but I wanted to record, so that's why I have a camera. But at least this is a nice way for me to compare what the quality difference is between the webcam and the camera, and maybe if it's not too bad I might use webcam more often, because it's a Brio 4K camera, Brio 4K webcam, so it should be pretty good. Alright, so getting back to the game I'm actually reviewing right now, NoReload Heroes is in its very essence super similar to Enter the Gungeon. You have the option to dash in order to dodge attacks, and you go through randomly generated rooms with randomly generated drops to fight randomly generated mobs. It's actually very simple. First, let's take a moment to talk about the setup of the game. Every time you start the game you have a randomly assigned basic weapon. You'll be looking to replace this weapon with drops you get from clearing rooms. The floors include many additional rooms you can choose to go into for additional experience or drops, and many of these rooms also contain mini-bosses that are, from my experience, simply stronger, bigger and better versions of mobs you also find throughout the levels themselves. As you clear rooms you get experience with which you level up, and after leveling up you get a choice to boost one of two stats. Now these choices, from what I can tell, are also always randomized, and they include, for example, dealing more damage, being quicker, having a higher rate of fire, getting more drops, and there's also one which I might show in the footage in the background that allows your bullets to bounce from walls. So if I, for example, have a railgun that's shooting like, let's say, 100 bullets a minute or whatever, I'm shooting them and they're all going to be bouncing around and bouncing around and bouncing around and hitting everyone, and it's good. It's good. I got it and I was like, this is good. As is standard with a game like this, your entire run is over once you die. The first floor is more of a glorified tutorial, to be really honest. It's actually super easy, but the game ramps up in difficulty very nicely. Once you get to later floors, mobs become quicker, they deal more damage, and they just become flat out tankier the higher the floor you go to. The smoothness of the controls is, for people who are unaware, about 75% of how good a twin-stick shooter actually is. So how does NoReload Heroes perform? Well, you can play with a single Joy-Con, you can play with two Joy-Cons, or you can play with a Pro Controller. Now as you can see from my hands, I don't have a Pro Controller, so I could not test this unfortunately, but I assume it's very comfortable on the Pro Controller, and I'll touch upon why later on. For people who are in a similar boat, I very much recommend you play with two Joy-Cons, because if you have to play with one Joy-Con, you have to use the Joy-Con controller both for the movement controls as well as for the directional controls, and this just makes it so that once you're moving in a specific direction, like I can't hold it this way, if you guys can even see it, I can't hold it this way, and at the same time aim a different way. It's just impossible. I can aim, shoot, run, aim, shoot, run, aim, shoot, run, aim, shoot, run. I can be like in a bit of a mobile, I can kite, and yes, it does work. Is it comfortable? No, not at all. So I very much recommend you play with the Joy-Cons attached to each other, or at least two Joy-Cons, or you play with a Pro Controller, which is probably very comfortable as well, because it has two sticks. So, you know, you have the option to aim one way, or running a different way, and it's just a whole lot better. Now in general, apart from that, the controls are very smooth. The controls are very good. The dashing is very smooth. You don't have a stamina bar or anything, so you can just keep on dashing and dashing and dashing, which really keeps the pace of the game. One thing, however, that I did not find very comfortable, which is the one downside I have with the control scheme, if you use anything else that is not a single Joy-Con, is these things are very small. They're very small, and we all know that these aren't very accurate. We also know that the circle this thing is positioned in is a round. It's a round alcove that you're in, and what that means is you can't really position it very nicely in a specific locked place. For example, if you had the game controllers back in the day, or the Xbox controllers, there was a way you could really easily just, you know, aim with them, and it was very comfortable. Now, compared it to the Switch, unfortunately I had a very difficult time, especially in the initial 15 minutes or so, to really lock onto a target. I constantly was shooting slightly off into the right, slightly off to the left, and I wasn't really hitting everyone. Now fortunately, after about half an hour of playing, this got a lot better, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's something to mention, especially if you suck at twin stick shooters like me. The fact though that I grew accustomed to it after about half an hour may mean that it's a bit more of a personal complaint and much less a general complaint about the game. Alright, so next up is the sound design. Now, I have to tell you, the sound design of this game, whew, it's good. It's good, guys. It's so good. The music, oh my god, man. It's a bit of a mix between metal and a bit more of a laid-back electronic style music. And ooh, it's good. And this game uses multiple soundtracks, and every time you go into a new floor, you have a different soundtrack. And at first I was like, ooh, this is a good soundtrack. But then I entered the second floor and there was a better soundtrack. And I was like, oh my god, what's going on? I am really loving this game. Now for the further sound design of the game, like the sound effects and everything, it's good. It's nothing too spectacular. I mean, it's a twin-stick shooter, you're gonna have some explosions. I do have to say that the bassiness of the explosions, the bassiness of like the shotguns and stuff, it's there. So that means that it's not bad, but it's also nothing too spectacular. So just go in there, expect gun sounds, and you're gonna get gun sounds, you know, that's pretty much how it works. What the fuck am I doing with my hands constantly? I keep moving my hands. I feel like I'm being Trump or something. You know the video with the guy who's like, Bunny or something. I'm not even sure what he's doing, but it's one of those late night shows, and there's this guy imitating Trump, and it's super funny. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. One thing I want to mention about the sound design as well is that the collecting sounds, when you collect experience, when you collect weapons and stuff, it's a very weirdly satisfying sound, reminding me vaguely of collecting coins in Mario games, which is a bit of a weird comparison, but it's that nice, upbeat, charming sound, and I like it. Now, as you can see from the video playing in the background right now, the environmental design uses mainly bright colors and uses a good amount of saturation. In my personal opinion, games like these do not require a whole lot of graphical fidelity. Everything on the screen is clearly visible, and as far as I have been able to tell, the performance is incredibly stable. A way more important aspect of the game, in my personal opinion. The only thing I could fault the game for is the repetitiveness of the areas. I feel like most of them are the exact same, with just a couple of different rooms, maybe a couple of different enemies, but I really felt like I was in the same general floor all the time, even though I went through, let's say, 20 or 30 floors in my couple of runs. It's a bit but you know, given the amount of randomized gameplay in this, like given the amount of randomized mobs, weapons, stats and everything, I don't really feel like the game needs a lot of design choices to be different. I don't feel like it needs a lot of different areas. So take it with a grain of salt. Yes, it's a complaint, but I don't think it's a complaint that really hurts the game that much. Finally, I'd like to address that this game features a co-op mode where you can go through the dungeon together. Unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity to test this myself, because I didn't have anyone to play it with before I wanted to film the review, so you're gonna have to test this yourself, but I'm assuming it's just two players doing the same thing one player might do, but maybe there's like a rest system or something, which would be cool. So, is this game worth its asking price? The same question I ask at the end of every review, because that is what you're here for. You want to know, is this game something that I should spend my money on? In all honesty, I do think so. So if you're looking for a game with a good amount of replayability, an incredible soundtrack, and most likely a lot of co-op fun, then this game does most certainly get my seal of approval. If, however, you are looking for something a bit more story-driven, or something with a lot of long-term progression built in, then I recommend leaving this game alone. It's a great game in what it does, and I would personally rate it in a very similar vein as Enter the Gungeon, with Enter the Gungeon being a bit higher up simply because I love the boss design. It's good, guys. It's very good. Alright, so I hope this review has answered any questions you may have about this game. I tried to be as thorough as is possible. If you, however, have any other questions that you might want to ask me, any questions about the game, any questions about my channel, any questions about me, or any questions about this chair that I'm sitting on right now, it's fine, you can ask me questions about the chair, I'll answer them. Of course, if you liked the video, then feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, you know, the general blah 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 de blah. If you're still here and you did not like the video, then I'm kind of wondering why you're here. I mean, I do really appreciate the compliment. I'm assuming you like me or anything like that. Thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying. So I'm gonna go off on a tangent right now. So I'm gonna end the video right here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you again later. Goodbye, guys.